Yeah. Mm. Knowledge. Get it going. Actionable financial literacy. Get it going for the day. Yep. Yep. Got some good things, good information for today, as always. That's how it goes. Uh, 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 uh. Good morning, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Blake here, and I tell you, today we're always ready to just bring some great information for you to get going and know what's going to happen for the day. Welcome to the morning's podcast. It's a Saturday morning. It's nice and warm here in Arizona. I'm quite hopefully it's nice and good weather where you are. Unless you're in the North Pole, South Pole, it's freezing no matter what day of the year it is. But I got some great information for you today. We're going to be talking about the art of deliberate living, where you can place where to place your energy to make you grow. And actually, my son, my namesake, which is really my dad's namesake. I'm his namesake. My boy's my namesake, and then he got his namesake with him. Joe Blake the third. Where you at, son? You here with us? You here with us, son?
I'm here.
All right, excellent. Okay, so and you got your namesake there.
Yeah. Got 4 generations right here.
Yeah, there you go. What's going on, grandson? How you doing, Joe? And that time. I guess my man think he's Jordan or something. All right. So how's your day going so far, son?
It's going well. I'm feeling blessed this day. It's a nice sunshiny day out here in Georgia, and just enjoying my day off.
Okay, excellent. Got started a little behind the schedule there a little bit. But that's okay. Things work out that way. So today we're going to be talking about the art of deliberate living, and you're gonna lead the discussion. I'm just gonna put myself to the side there. So so here's the presentation there, and I'll let you go ahead and lead the discussion there. So
Right.
Go ahead, son.
All right. So today's topic, we're talking about the art of deliberate living, where to place your energy. So we'll get into it in more detail, but I just like to say, you want to be mindful of the energy that you have around you, the energy that you're putting out there, and you want to channel your energy in the right direction. So this is kind of what we're going to be talking about today, and want to be. I like to put it like to be intentional about your life. And instead of always reacting to things, you want to be able to be proactive in the things that we're doing. All right, so let me get to the next slide here. Energy is your most valuable asset. So it says you don't lack energy, you leak it quietly, constantly, often without noticing. Every decision, every reaction, every hour spent is a deposit or withdrawal from your most infinite resource or finite resource. You have enough. The energy is there. The question is whether it's working for you or against it. You leak it daily without intention. Energy drains into obligation, distraction, and other people's urgency. Anything you want to add to that, Dad?
Yeah, you do have to have enough energy, and sometimes you don't get enough rest. It can be physical rest in the bed, but rest yourself, because sometimes from one day to the next, you're working on the job or working in your business, and there's sometimes you have to take a break. Sometimes you have to like physically take a break where you got to stop and just chill. I call it do nothing time. If you don't have to do nothing time, it's hard to do. And like growing up, I had 3 kids, and there were times where I had being a firefighter, and when you were young, man, there was times I'd go to work and we had runs in the middle of the night, and runs in firefighters, they know what runs are. I'd be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I had to come home and watch you, and
Hmm.
it was and your brother, and a couple of times I fall asleep, and there you go, in a whole can of Vaseline. Yeah. All in your head, and I was like, "Oh my God!" You wake up, snummer, snummer, snummer. I'm like, "Oh my God, what you doing, dude?" And sometimes it happens, but you gotta get rest.
Right.
Sometimes I know it's hard out there. Believe me, I know it's hard. But man, I had Vaseline
Hmm.
everywhere, man. I thought he was in trouble, and I was trouble. But you got
Right.
to do it.
Yeah. So this is something that we all can relate to. We all, experience it in varying degrees day to day. I know um, I might start off the day with, depending on how much sleep I got. I got, for the most part, I'll say I got a lot of energy. I wake up, go to work, and then throughout the day, your energy kind of stagnates and gets slower. And then I come home and sometimes I'm exhausted. The first thing I want to do is take a nap, and I open the door and I got Joel right here. I got Jaden, and they got lots of energy. So it's like I gotta at times I gotta match their energy. I gotta until they wind down, their energy levels go down. They go to sleep, and then finally Dad can get some sleep. So energy is a valuable asset, and you know this, we're talking about like our day to day routine here. But I just one little thing I want to throw out there is think about, and I'm coming from a tech perspective. A lot of times, we spend a lot of times on social media, whether that's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these different platforms. You're putting your energy out there when you post, when you respond, when you like, you comment, and you're sharing things. Uh, but are you? Would you say that you're getting the most benefit out of the energy that you're putting out there? Could you be putting that energy somewhere else? So those are examples of, or could be examples of where you may be leaking energy, where you may want to place it somewhere else.
That's true. That is
Hmm.
so true. You can be up all night flipping through videos and stuff,
Right,
but
right.
you have your kids.
All right. So let me get to the next one. All right. It says, went back too fast. All right. Energy follows attention. So what you focus on grows what you consistently and then grows, and what you consistently ignores fades. This is not motivation, it's the architecture of how a life is built. So focus equals growth. Sustained attention compounds over time, and the skill results in identity. And then default drift. This is just unfortunately this our pictures right here is kind of overlapping the reading. I can't read what that slide says.
Oh, I think I messed something up.
If I can improvise, you can just pull it back up.
Okay.
And then default drift is most people live by reaction, not design, and wonder why nothing changes. So we was on slide 3. I want to say.
Yeah, you may have to pull it back up there, son, because I have a little challenge there.
Okay, no problem.
There you go.
All right. So, this kind of already piggybacking off of what we were talking about of how to channel your energy and be intentional about your energy. You want to channel your energy in things that are going to benefit you, that are going to fulfill you, things that are going to sustain you, versus things that may be distracting you or uh, taken away from your priorities. Um, Whatever you give more time and attention to, you give it more power to. think you really give your power away when you give things attention. So you want to be mindful. What are you giving your attention to? What are you giving power over you? So what do you focus on growth? So I can relate to this from an academic standpoint because I am in education. So when I think about this, a lot of times uh, students, they're distracted by daily life. They're distracted, especially young people these days. They're distracted by the phone, and they don't put enough time and effort into their studies to really master the material because they're being easily distracted. So uh, and they may not even take it as serious as they should because they got their mind occupied with other things. But if they would channel that energy, that that focus, they could really take their education and their career to the next level.
You know what? How do you handle it when you're in class and your students, bring out the phone while you're teaching? How do you handle it, son?
Well, this is so. This is a everyday challenge
It
because
is. I get the same thing. That's like I'm gonna ask you, man.
uh,
How you handle it?
well, teaching dual enrollment, these students, high school students, they're not supposed to have the phone, especially and actually in Georgia next year, they're going to make it so they're going to make a law where they can't have their phones in class. But outside of dual enrollment, I also teach. I teach adult students, and adult students they have the same thing. They have the same challenges with the phone. Um, I want to say for the most part, they're more responsible and more respectful than dual enrollment students, but they still have those vices with this phone, the ball and chain of the phone. So I mean, I'm very direct. I just tell them, hey, I need your attention right now. We're going over XYZ. You need to put that phone down. And I mean, if I'm teaching a dual enrollment student, and if that doesn't encourage them to do the right thing, I snatch that phone from them. I do at the class, depending on you know. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the challenges of teaching.
You know what I do? When I start class and I give the introduction out, I talk to them about because I've been in business for so long, 32 years. I said, hey,
Mhm.
listen. I said, if your phone ring, yeah, because this is what we have in business. I said, if your phone ring is $1, if you answer it, it's $5.
Mm.
You see everybody grab their phone. They say, yeah, we use that money, and we use them. I collect that money, and we have a party at the end of the semester, and we had use that money to buy donuts. And
uh,
everybody grab their phone. And that's it. Look, I'm joking. I can't do that. But in business, that's what we do. If your phone rings, it's $1. If you answer it, it's $5. So
mm.
we use that money for business, then we have a party afterwards. So I tell them that I can't do that, but I just tell them that because we do it at the office. Your phone ring during the meeting, it's $1. You answer that bad boy, yeah, that's $5 you got to pay. And then I got to
Mhm.
make sure my own phone is on that. So because I put them in that business mindset, so they know, that's like a no to actually to do that. And then if
Mhm.
we're in class and they're diddling with their phone, I'm walking around the class while I'm teaching because I got my clicker in my hand and I'm going with the PowerPoint. So I'm walking around class. So if I see you with your phone in your hand, I'm walking right up to you and ask you a question about the subject.
Right.
So you can't drift out.
Mhm.
I'm actually the subject of the class right then and there, and that pulls you away from your phone and into the classroom. Because I do my because I'm not it's it's kind of I don't know how to put it, but to tell you to put your phone down, it's like I'm trying to be your daddy or your mama, and I ain't got time for that. But I'm your instructor. I'm going to pull you off of that phone and pull you into the classroom.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's my approach. But go on, man. Go to the next slide, man. You go.
All right. All right. Next slide. You're not losing. You're misaligned. So the problem isn't effort; is that your effort is going somewhere that doesn't serve you. So Over-investing in low returns, time and energy poured into things that will never pay you back, performing for others instead of building something real for yourself, in reacting instead of choosing. So you allow life to happen to you rather than happens to you rather than through you, because you never pause to decide. So I hate to keep beating the horse, so to speak, with the social media thing, but that's an example of over investing in something that has low return. When you're spending too much time on social media, and I'm just using that as an example because everybody's not have the same vices. Some people may not be like, watch too much social media. They might want to play basketball. They might want to, and I mean, in my opinion, basketball is probably a better activity, but it could be anything that you're doing to your detriment. If you're spending too much time doing and getting involved and doing things that don't benefit your life goals in the direction that you want to go, um, you're not really you're really hurting yourself. You have the time, you have the energy, but you're not using it. You're channeling it and you're misappropriating that energy in the wrong direction. So part of that is seeking validation over value. Sometimes we participate in things and we're doing things uh, because we want to be seen. We want to be seen. We want that attention of uh, maybe being the expert or being the leader in a certain area, but we haven't taken the time to really um, master that material and to really understand those things or master that skill set that might be needed. Um, so when you do that consistently over time, you find yourself you're reacting and you're responding instead of being more decisive over your time and energy.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. You gotta make sure you're aligned with your purpose and your goals. And when you are not aligned with your purpose and goal, you miss the point. You miss the mark. You got to be able to readjust. And just like when the space shuttle takes off and goes off you know, outer space. Whenever it takes that goes into space like that, they have to make so many different adjustments to make sure it stays on course. And people don't realize when it takes off, it's taking off, but it makes adjustments every so often along the course, so to stay on course. So even though it takes off, it looks like it's going straight up. No, it's making adjustments along the way. So in life, you're going into a certain course. So you're taking off. You have a course going in your direction, but each time you go in that direction, in order to stay on course, you have to make adjustments along the way. And if you don't make those adjustments in life, you can be off course. And if you don't make those adjustments, you won't reach your mark. I mean, you're driving down the road, you're going to you drive. Man, well, you don't know how far this is, but I had an appointment in Surprise, and I had to go all the way over from Surprise over to Tempe, and that was an hour from North Surprise to Tempe. And on the way, some of the roads had changed up in Surprise, the north part of Surprise. I couldn't believe that the city is almost up there, and some of the road was blocked off. But you got to be mindful. There could be roadblocks. There could be other things that are in place now, and if you're not watching it, you'll miss the difference in the roads and everything. So, got to be mindful of those things that could be there. So, I mean, it happens. Go on, son.
All right. Well, now we're talking about the four energy buckets. So every moment of your day, your energy flows into one of four areas. Understanding which bucket you're filling and how often is the first step towards deliberate living. So we all have obligations. Those can be your job, your bills, your responsibilities. Then we have distractions, which could be, those are the silent killers. That could be your social media, drama, trying to prove yourself. And then you have alignment. So what fulfills you? What is your purpose? What's your faith? What's important to you, such as your family? What brings you peace? And then investments. What builds your future? Skills, your health, income, and income. So these four buckets are not equal. The goal of deliberate living is to shrink the first two and expand the last two with full awareness of where each hour goes.
Okay. So what do you have to do? What drains you? What fills you? Builds your future. So it's a good. This pretty much is a continuous cycle. That's what it looks like. It's a continuous cycle.
Right.
So what you have to do is pay the bills.
Hmm.
Pay the bills. What drains you? So what? Sometimes people drain you.
Hmm.
There's people that drain you. There's people that fill you up. How do you know the difference between the two?
How you feel afterwards? After you interact with them, how do you feel? Do you feel refreshed? Do you feel invigorated, or do you feel drained? Do you feel, feel low? Feel bothered, agitated?
Yeah, this is another way. Yeah, the people that drain you, you see them coming. You, oh my, here he come. Oh my God, there they come. Oh my,
Mm.
that is a drainer. You see them coming. You was like, you look for a place to hide. No, that's a drainer. And sometimes you really don't want that drainer in your life, man. You're like, oh my God, here he comes. In the fire department, it was hard. It was hard because you see them drainers because you're in the same building for 24 hours. It's hard to go. It is hard to go. So if you don't have that drainer in your life, if you don't recognize that drainer, it's hard to know how to not realize that you have to be mindful of it and be aware that sometimes you gotta be present to it and realize set a time limit for that person, that time limit for that type of person in life. And then once you realize it that way, then you got to find how do you fill yourself up? How do you find yourself? How do you fill yourself up? Where do you go to fill yourself up? Where do you go to fill yourself?
I mean,
Where's your filling
well,
station?
I mean, one thing that I go to fill myself with is church. Going to church. We also have for those that are spiritual. It helps keep us replenished and refreshed. And sometimes you moving through life, and if you don't have that spiritual interaction, you might start having like a worldly view
Yeah.
on things. So sometimes you got to go there. It's like refilling your spiritual gas tank, so to speak, so you can stay grounded in your faith. For those that are spiritual, So I know everybody's not, but it could be something else for you. But for me, that's one thing.
Spirituality can be in the church. It also can be in different books you read that just work that fill you up in that sense. And like you say, in the investment, the last one that's skill set. It could be health, wealth, and things like that. Whatever it is for you, the individual. So we're almost landing the plane here, but I want to show a video, and then we'll finish. We'll come back next week to the second part. But there's a video I wanted to share with everyone. So let me share this video here. Let's see if it comes from here. Yep, there we go. We're gonna listen to this video, and then I'll land the plane for us here for a moment. So his video, it talks about how to stay young. This is our avatar. This is Avatar Joe. Welcome to the art of staying psychologically young and managing inner risks. Hello, everyone. When we think of staying young, Our minds often conjure images of wrinkle creams, anti aging diets, or endless exercise routines. But what if true youthfulness wasn't about defying the physical aging process, but rather about cultivating a specific state of mind and spirit? The renowned Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung offered a profound perspective on this, suggesting that staying young is not about stopping the clock, but about keeping the inner fire of psychological growth alive. Jung believed that life is divided into two halves. The first half, up to around age 35 or 40, is primarily focused on external achievements, establishing a career, building a family, finding our place in the world. But the second half of life, he argued, is where the real work of becoming truly ourselves begins. This is not a period of decline, but an opportunity for immense psychological development, a process he called individuation. To Jung, staying young means refusing to become rigid, dogmatic, or stuck in old patterns. It means continuously asking questions, seeking new experiences, and integrating all aspects of our personality, even the parts we might prefer to ignore, our shadow. When we stop learning, stop growing, and stop adapting, that's when we truly begin to age, regardless of our chronological years. This brings us to a unique form of risk management, managing the internal risks to our psychological well-being and vitality. The risk here is not financial loss, but the profound cost of stagnation, meaninglessness, and a premature psychological decline. Jung observed that many people in the second half of life experienced a deep sense of unfulfillment if they didn't shift their focus inward. The antidote to this stagnation, this psychological aging, is to actively engage with our inner world, to find new purpose, new creativity, and new ways of contributing. This continuous introspection and adaptation serve as our risk mitigation strategies against becoming psychologically brittle or irrelevant to ourselves. So, according to the wisdom of Carl Jung, true youthfulness isn't about looking young, but about being young in spirit, curious, open, adaptable, and perpetually in the process of becoming. It's about embracing the journey of self-discovery, finding new meaning, and cultivating a vibrant inner life that continues to expand and deepen, no matter how many birthdays we celebrate. It's about understanding that psychological growth is a lifelong adventure, and that the richest experiences often lie ahead, provided we actively manage the risk of closing ourselves off to that continuous evolution. As always, remember to stay tuned, stay informed, and stay on point with actionable financial literacy. All right, all right. Okay, so with that, let me go ahead and close things out, son, and I'll bring you back and we'll talk some more. So, thanks, and part two will be next week. So everybody just hang tight, and we'll talk about part two next week. All right, so just want to remind everyone we have the link here for the podcast. You can scan that QR code there. The QR code will give you access to be able to share with us, and a monthly subscription that helps us keep everything running. Be able to create more content for you to be able to share with others. The video that you have there, that'll be we'll post that on our Facebook page so you can share with other people as well. Talks about you know being young is not necessarily an age thing, but it's mindset and how you're being about life, how you're creating yourself in life, and it's important to. I like being, I like having fun. That's what I'm about. I like having fun, like sharing things. So I get my son there, and he got his son because when he was a little boy, I used to do the same thing with him. He rolled with daddy. He does. He teaches. All my kids teach because they seen they see what dad did, and I'm thankful that God seen and they wanted to duplicate that. So and they're doing well. They're doing well by their own rights. But I thank God He allowed me to be an example that they can and see and grow as well. Also, I want to remind you that this is the second book in my trilogy, Joseph Building Financial Legacy. You can scan that, download that book as well, and get that. The first book was Joseph Building Financial Literacy. Literacy lasts a lifetime. Joseph Building Financial Legacy. Legacy lasts a generation. And I am writing book number 3, Joseph Building Financial Legend. So those 3 books God gave me to write down to be able to provide to everyone out there, all my listeners and readers, and it's a way for to be able to understand about finances from a very simplistic method and a means of understanding it. 'Cause finances can be a challenging subject to understand because the industry makes it seem like it's difficult, but wealth is something that anyone can do, but you just got to have the discipline, the understanding, and the stick to itness to create that wealth for you and your family. And when you do it, I mean, we all can do it. It's just that you got to understand what to do, why to do, and how to do. And that's what building financial literacy and legacy and legend is all about. And then lastly, here we go. We have what's called uh, the Actionable Money app, and that Actionable Money app, it you can download this app, and that's the companion app to go with all 3 of the books and a lot of my videos. The uh, I call my memory models that I talk about the um, financial decision model, the behavior model, the different models that I've shared over time, and they're also in the book. They're on the app as well, where you can download it and look at those memory models, see what they're about, and it tells more about the money aspect as well. Whew. So all those things, they're they're on the book. You can go back and look at it and get a handle on all those things. This is my purpose for this is my purpose in life. I just coming from being a firefighter, and I love firefighting. I do. I got a whole wall with all my firefighting stuff. But firefighting and finance, only God can do something like that. But I love what I do. I've been licensed for 32 years after being a firefighter. 32 years doing this, and got my PhD is up on the wall over there. And only God can do some crazy stuff like that. Make this guy that's a firefighter go get a PhD. That's how things work out. But I enjoy it. I hope you gained some good information from today. Hope my son, I'm like my dad. He's like his dad, and so it's a great thing. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Again, hope you have some great. I hope you got something from what you learned and heard today. And hey, we'll see you next week. And get more information about the art of deliberate living, the second part of what we have to share. Have fun, have a good time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Again, stay tuned, stay informed, and always stay on point. Ah.